Hey, what's up everyone? Tiebreak just received Early Access update number 7, which is also the last patch before full release of the game. This video is more informative to let you all know what are the changes and additions in the latest update. Unfortunately, developers did not bother to list any gameplay changes in their so-called patch notes or announcement video, so we have to find out how things are on our own. If I missed something, make sure to let us all know in the comment section. In my next video, you can expect Early Access 7 review. Spoiler alert, despite positive community reception and many gameplay changes that look good on the surface, I am not loving it. But that's the topic for the next video. Now let's talk about Early Access 7 patch changes and additions. First, the gameplay changes. Finally, serve was reworked in Tiebreak. Now, timing your serve is much more difficult than before. It's actually quite challenging to get the ball into the play right now. Serving now is also split into two types, aggressive and safe serve. It's easier to miss serve now, and there's also a risk-reward factor added to serving mechanics, which is good concept. But unfortunately, serving is hard for the wrong reasons. I am struggling to understand the exact timing of most serves in Tiebreak. I only figured out Kyrgios' serve, so I tend to stick playing with him. In my opinion, the UI indication of when you should release the serve button is designed very poorly. After plenty of trial and error, I still don't understand when exactly is the right timing for releasing the serve button with most players. And that's a sign of bad interface design. Another change to serving is that you can finally turn off this serve zoom animation in the settings. It's a very welcome change that players were begging for ages. Next, we had shot balancing changes. First change is that aggressive shots, those done with triggers, were nerfed for topspin and slice. Using either shot type with trigger is now a recipe for constant outs. It also seems to me that shooting with one trigger only is more accurate now than holding both triggers, but I might be wrong. Flat shot was also significantly buffed and can be spammed right now. What you have to do is to aim towards the baseline and avoid overpowering your flat shot, and like 80-90% of flat shots will go in. I actually won against CPU on highest difficulty 6-1 today using only aggressive flat shots throughout the match. Defensive scrambling shots go mainly out now as well, which is a good change because before they were going in way too much. I understand that most players will have to adjust to these changes. If you use anything besides flat shot, don't hold triggers. But generally, I just recommend to spam flat shots without hitting the ball early, and you're going to win a lot of points. Another change in Early Access 7 is that player movement has improved. There's more inertia in the game to how players move on the court. This is a very welcome change, as one of the biggest complaints about Tiebreak is the unrealistic player movement. Unfortunately, scrambling when holding both triggers is still in the game and continues to ruin the tennis experience of Tiebreak for me. You can still run in circles a bit, though changing directions with sprint seems a bit slower now. Next, developers added plenty of new animations to the game. Players seem to have way more signature shots in Tiebreak right now than I think they had before. I checked players added in Early Access 6 who had a lot of generic animations before. Now they have mainly their signature animation shots added to the game, which is great. We also have new cutscenes triggered by positive or negative reactions. These are really nice. It's actually very funny seeing players smacking their rackets vividly or clapping in sign of appreciation for opponents' shots. These are nice touches. Running forehands seem much better now than how I remember they looked before. This type of shot looks actually fluid and in motion in Early Access 7. For instance, I don't remember Kyrgios having his signature running forehand in the game like he has now. Unfortunately, there are no positive changes to CPU difficulty. The only positive change I noticed in CPU behavior is higher aggression on some baseline shots and returns. The game is admittedly a bit harder now against computer. But that's because the gameplay has changed, not because computer programming quality has improved. CPU still struggles mightily to play the ball from anywhere besides the baseline. So if you want to win point quickly, just play a drop shot or a shorter high hanging ball and the computer will give you a freebie. On top of gameplay changes, we have 8 new players added to the game. Players such as Christopher Eubanks, Hubert Hurkacz, Jasmine Paolini, Lauren Davis and more. They are all well done and all have signature animations for ground strokes, serves and return positions. Big Ant Studios also added press conferences into Tiebreak. It's a change I don't really care about for now, since we cannot use custom players in career mode in Early Access 7, but press conference is there in the game in case you are curious about it. Unfortunately, with the latest patch we have 2 new bugs introduced to the game. First is that the ball gets bugged during the service and keeps colors depending on your serve timing. It basically turns into a colorful light bulb for a point or two. It happens really often and persists for a couple of points or so, until it bugs out again a point later. It's annoying as hell, and I don't understand how it was unnoticed by developers. This bug happened in my first game already. The way to fix it is to, well, turn off the serving timing indicator, which makes the serving even harder. And the second bug is that the sound tends to disappear for some shots, also affecting crowd noise. This bug happens few times per match. It's confusing and annoying, but lasts only until the point finishes. So these were the changes I noticed in Early Access 7 update for Tiebreak. Personally, I am concerned about the priorities of Big Ant Studios. Their Steam patch notes focus only on 8 new players added to the game and press conference. There are no details of gameplay changes, like at all. And as you can see, there are a lot of changes to the gameplay and balancing, which were left unmentioned. This is worrying because all the reasons why the game might flop lie in the gameplay and not in the number of players or some animated cutscenes in career mode. Anyway, I will talk more about my concerns and negative feeling about Early Access 7 in my next video. That's all from me in this one. Thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one.